I always loved the organ. I started taking lessons in high school. Once I was really getting into the organ, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
This is a great love of Nick John's life, the mystical music from the Catholic Mass.
It's just very lifting to me and very spiritual for me.
The son of a deacon, an altar boy himself, John's fine-tuned his love for the keyboard with a music degree at Georgia State. For all those years, because of his faith, John says he denied who he really was, a gay man.
Well, when you grow up Catholic and there's always that teaching and whatnot that, you know, being gay is wrong and not natural, and you know, it's the devil working inside of you.
2 years ago, when he was 25, John's came out.
I decided I wasn't going to hide anymore. I wasn't going to lie about it.
Last September, he was hired as an organist at St. Bridget in Johns Creek, a church with close to 5,000 families.
I didn't want them to find out through someone else. And that's why I actually told Monsignor Talley, because I think it's worse coming from someone else. I mean, it was fine for a while, and it wasn't ever affecting my job.
Shortly after he was hired, John says a parishioner went to the head pastor, Monsignor David Talley.
They printed out something that was on my Facebook wall. You know, I had been sharing pictures about, you know, I support marriage equality or something like that.
John's Facebook wall has posts supporting gay marriage and photos of he and his fiancé. John says Monsignor Talley spoke to him, that he was compassionate.
He asked me to you know, maybe be cautious around here and around the church and make my profile private.
John's made his Facebook profile private. He says he loved his job and that Talley sang his praises from the pulpit, saying in one sermon how he loved to listen to John's rehearse when the church was empty. Months later, Pope Benedict named Talley Atlanta's auxiliary bishop.
I will hope to give my whole heart, all that I am, to this new way of caring for the Lord's flock.
We were all so excited. We were so proud of him. The staff loves him. He was doing wonderful things there.
John says just weeks after Talley left St. Bridget, Father Joshua Allen, another priest with the church who served under Talley, called him.
And he said, it's like, I hate to do this over the phone, but you're under suspension pending possible termination due to your Facebook account being in moral dissension with the teachings of the Catholic Church.
In this letter John's received from St. Bridget, Father Allen writes disciplinary action could include termination. John says 1 week later, Allen gave him the option of termination or resignation. John says he chose resignation. This is video of Father Allen on Atlanta Interfaith Broadcaster's website discussing the Supreme Court's ruling on same-sex marriage.
That homosexual activity, it's just another sin. It's not like we have a particular problem with this one over other sins. It's just another sin, and the church is never going to stand by idly as a society tries to take a sin and turn it into something that's not treated as a sin.
The Atlanta chapter of the American Guild of Organists wrote to St. Bridget and asked for mediation. It has yet to happen. The Guild filed a complaint against the church and writes in this letter that no Guild member can seek employment there until the matter is resolved. Guild leaders also wrote that members should be treated with dignity regardless of their beliefs and stances on social issues. The Catholic Church has every right to fire Nick Johns or to force his resignation. Employee handbooks at dioceses across the country state church employees must reflect the teachings of the church. The Archdiocese wouldn't speak to us for our story except to say they don't comment on current or former employees. But we did talk to two priests with the Archdiocese who wouldn't go on camera, but who told us Nick John's story is well known and is cause for concern, especially in light of Pope Francis' recent comments. When asked about homosexuals, he said, "Who am I to judge?" And just last week, he said religion doesn't have the right to interfere spiritually in the lives of gays and lesbians. Today, Nick John's heart is where his hands are.
I've never felt more at home or welcome than I have here.
Johns is the interim organist at Rock Spring Presbyterian Church. They know his story, they know he is gay, and they welcomed him. Being Catholic is a big part of who Johns is.
It still hurts today.
But he is questioning whether he will ever return to the only faith he's ever known.
The Catholic Church was my home for my whole life, and this is them telling me that I'm not wanted.